Welcome to Spiderwick.
So our movie opens up with this collector-esque room with jellyfishes, frogs, snakes, stick insect slimes, and the most important person in this movie, Mr. Deadbeat Dad Arthur Spiderwick. He's frantically putting together this homemade book.
Knowledge!
We know this book is important because when he seals it together and stamps it, this immense aura from its conqueror's haki just disperses into the environment. The movie cuts to 80 years later and gives us some of the main cast, Simon, the sister lady, and the mother lady. The camera pans to show us the main character, which you can tell is moody because he has his headphones in and he's on his phone, which is clear signs of antisocial behavior in any 2000s film. Two of the main characters are actually acted by the same dude, the autistic guy from The Good Doctor. I am a surgeon!
I am a surgeon! I am a surgeon!
Though you can clearly tell who is who. The moody one, Jared, wears hoodies and headphones compared to his brotherly counterpart who has a belt and tucked in pants. But throughout this entire film, it sounds like Jared is British and he's pretending to do an American oh, wait, he just is straight up British. Okay. Simon and the mum just move into the house. Simon just starts grilling the house by saying it has an old person smell.
Ugh, it has that old people smell.
Just an observation, not a judgment.
I looked up because I don't interact with many old people and it deadass has his own wiki page. Jared is giving his family the silent treatment, so that gives him the entitled right not to help out his family.
I've been rapping for a minute, like even in elementary school, middle school, like I was freestyling and shit in school.
Sister then starts hitting him, threatening him, lures him out the car, and then just fucking slices his neck into two. She's a bit of a bitch this entire film.
Okay, Mom.
Get out of the car right now.
Jared asks his brother for help, but he's all like, I have no enemies, and fucks off. Then his sister goes all like, I have secret information I can't tell you, but will alter the ties of this movie later down the line. Stupid bitch. Jared then just starts smacking the shit out of the car. His little 13-year-old brain not understanding taillights can be like $150. He then hears something in the woods and then goes inside, not shutting the car like the ungrateful prick that he is. He then talks to his brother about how their dad is coming back for them or something, and then starts grilling the house. This kid is genuinely so ungrateful. He just got gifted a 5-story manor, has a loving family, and he's still whining. The thing that really sells him on leaving the house though is the salt on every single window frame.
What's this? Oh. It's just a little sodium chloride.
Actually, dude, it's salt.
That's what I said.
No, dude.
Can you genuinely imagine how much money this costs to put salt on every window frame?
It's salt.
And it's actually pretty thick as well. It's not even just a little bit of salt, it's just straight up like 6 inches thick.
What do you mean by that?
We then get to see Arthur Spiderwick's daughter in a painting, who they claim is in a nut house after claiming her dada was abducted by fairies.
Is that the nutbag and her husband?
We cut to the kitchen and we can clearly see there's no salt on the window, even though just before his brother told him that there was salt on every window in the house.
Nope.
Then we get to the doomsday prepping of the new abode, with the house just being home to mass amounts of honey, salt, and tomato sauce.
I guess Aunt Lucinda liked honey with her oatmeal.
Nope.
The sister bitch is all mad at Jared for taking a medal, but Jared's like, I didn't take it.
Nope.
The family argue, and I find it funny that the only people arguing in live time is the sister and this dude, bro. The mum turns on the faucet and proceeds to get blasted all over a single mother's face. And in this shot, we can see that Jared isn't even looking, and yet he's laughing. Then in this shot, he's looking at it. Completely took me out of the film. A quick phone call with his dad later.
Seriously, there's nothing here. You'll see.
He tells his kid he ain't coming. Deadbeat dads, am I right? And then Jared hears shit behind the walls. And instead of a normal person assuming it's a rat or a squirrel or something, like Simon literally assumes 30 seconds later, he just starts pelting holes into the wall like a fucking psycho. His sister goes and says, we don't need any more holes in the wall, then makes a massive fucking hole.
Are you serious right now, bro?
Unsurprisingly though, Jared isn't nuts and they actually find a dumbwaiter.
Dumbwaiter.
Shut your fucking mouth!
Which led me down a rabbit hole on the name dumbwaiter. Anyways, he finds his mum's keys which he allegedly lost before and the medal. The sister bitch believes that Jared took it, hid it in the wall, and then replastered it, even though that doesn't make any fucking sense. Stupid bitch. After his siblings fuck off.
Simon, don't you want to know where this thing goes? Not really.
All my fellas!
Jared finds a key and decides to go up there. The elevator leads into some room which we saw at the start of the film. This time it's dark and got cobwebs, 80 years worth in fact. He uses the key he found to open this chest and rummages around it for some reason, even though he has zero motivation to do this at all. There's literally tons of items in this room and he chooses this one chest. And then he finds the Chronicle, the one we saw getting made at the beginning, the one with the conqueror's haki, and he also finds his name written in dust. He then runs out the room after hearing some heebie-jeebie sounds. He then whacks Simon on the head and sounds like a psycho trying to explain everything.
It's a room. Secret room. Upstairs. There was a desk and a chest, and I found this book.
And Simon's all like,
Nope.
and goes back to bed. This leaves Jared all alone, so he decides to investigate the book. He reads an intense warning on the book and just yeets that bitch and opens it anyway. Dude, I just said fucking yeet in 2025, bro. But when he opens the seal, the Conqueror's hotkey stored in it from before just disperses everywhere again. And he starts reading with a fucking torch instead of the lamp right next to him. We are shown someone's watching him but never revealed who it is, so Jared decides to sit in a fucking box for some reason. We get shown this flashback from Arthur Spiderwick's perspective where he's writing the fucking book. And in this book he's put in all these creatures, fairy wings and stuff like that. But the main takeaway from this book is that it holds great power inside. And there's this dude called Gorlock or Morgoth or Algarath or something like that who wants this book.
The ogre Molgarath.
And he can transform into a bunch of different creatures and he's gonna do whatever he can to get it. He is literally evil for no fucking reason, bro. This flashback is interrupted by screaming in his sister's room, where we're introduced to her strange new hairdo, tying her to the bed, and unsurprisingly, Jared is to blame for it. The family's doubts are exasperated when he says he was reading, and they're like,
You can't fucking read.
The next day, like nothing ever happened, Simon and the bitchy sister are practicing sword fighting before the sister shanks Simon in cold blood. Jared, still reading the book, stumbles over and asks Simon what appease means. Simon decides to tell him, but the level of English isn't rudimentary enough despite the fact he literally gives a definition, so Simon dumbs it down even more. He continues to ramble about how a brownie is in the house, the weird looking rat creature, while the camera's POV switches to something in the bushes. We then see leaves start to fly around before an invisible force field goes whoom! With the new definition of appease, Jared starts making a birdhouse for the brownie, with a bed, honey, crackers, and a few other knickknacks before taking it upstairs. He sleeps for a bit waiting for something to happen, and nothing happens, until the brownie decides to come out, and starts eating the crackers. Now that I'm reading the script talking about brownie and crackers, it sounds like I'm talking about something racist. The brownie, that still doesn't sound right, speaks in riddles like the Riddler and has a crash out and turns into the Hulk. After seeing that Jared took the book from the chest, he starts tweaking out. Coincidentally, the nerd brother is looking for the cat and he gets jumped by some invisible creatures. The brownie hands him this rock lens that allows him to see the goblins trafficking his brother outside. The brownie goes off on Jared when he tries taking the book outside, calling this thing the circle, the force field from earlier. Jared just smacks the bitch. Jared runs down the stairs to save himself, and instead of explaining to his sister what's happening, he just runs off angrily. This guy really pisses me off. He ends up finding a goblin camp after trailing after them. Simon's in a cage, and then this scary looking pig creature called Hog Squill jump scares him and eats a bird right in front of him. He actually sounds exactly like Seth Rogen. Wait.
Whose side are you on? Stay your side!
That is Seth Rogen, what the fuck? Hog Squill, hot tours in his eyes. I'm sad. Which means he doesn't need the stone anymore. Hogsquill knows this kid is British and tells him to shank the ogre that's inbound, Gorlock or Morgath or whatever his name is. But Seth Rogen is on absolute lock with vengeance on his mind. Hogsquill fucks off after seeing a bird and the goblins start chanting Morgarath's name as a bunch of leaves start to take form of a monster. Oh, he's just a regular ass person. He basically touches this kid and strips him for all he's worth trying to find the book, but they realize they took the less important twin. He lets Simon go under the promise that he'll get the book, but Jared overhears him saying that they're gonna murk the whole family anyway. Jared sees Molgath's big form, where he's actually somewhat menacing and runs after his brother. Simon and Jared meet up with each other in the woods and have a little scruffle over the book, and then the goblins see them, but why are the goblins here when the evil ogre let them walk away? Were they coming to follow him home? Like they already know where he lives, or were they coming to kill him? They're just here for some reason, I suppose. And if you say this is some sort of patrol, I don't give a fuck. They outrun the goblins, but not before Simon is fucking mauled alive. They get into the protective circle, but not before their bitchy sister, oh, her name is Mallory, comes from behind the shed for some reason. Her wrists and hands are then slit, just straight up, and then she starts killing a bunch of goblins from help with the rock lens that Jared throws to her. The house gets surrounded, and this is the main goblin, and he's all like, grrr, I'm a goblin. They go upstairs and see all the goblins surrounding their house in this cool shot. Oh my god, we're all gonna die! As they decide what they should do with the book. The little brownie from upstairs, it feels so fucked up saying that, by the way, says that if Morgarath gets the book, they will all die. Like, everybody on the whole fucking planet.
You die, I die, we all die, bye-bye.
What does he mean, we all die?
I think he means
We all die.
But there's zero way he's surviving a tank shot from an Abrams. The crew eventually comes to the conclusion to burn the fucking book and try and make a display in front of the goblins. But there is like 40 minutes left of this movie, so this fails. Like, this isn't explained how he made the book burn-proof, but it just fucking is. They decide to go find Spiderwick's daughter, the one that I mentioned from the start, in the nut house. Yeah, that one. Conveniently, Simon finds some letters from the care home she's in, so they know exactly where she is. So they come up with a plan, but how can they possibly leave the house with like 1,000 goblins? Oh, a secret tunnel. Simon gives his sister a doohickey that will allow her to see the goblins, because remember, she hasn't had the Haktui yet. So Simon goes out to distract the goblins while the duo, Jared and his sister, run out to the back of the shed. The goblins have a sixth sense and turn around for some reason, but are too slow, and they make their way into a little bunker inside the shed. The goblins somehow smell them underground. This is the only time in the movie that they will use their pinpoint accuracy smelling ability, by the way. The movie cuts to Simon, who then finds some Ted Kaczynski manifestos and an encyclopedia on how to commit genocide on goblins, as the brownie finds out Jared once again took the fucking book. The goblins decide to call in a Hulk, aka a troll.
Get the troll.
That they find immediately. Like, they say to get the troll, and then immediately the troll jumps down into the tunnels 5 seconds later. So was he just hiding outside the house? Why haven't they used him? Why is there only one troll? This doesn't make any sense to me. Which Jared immediately recognizes as a mole troll without even seeing it.
It's a mole troll. What? Run!
When did he become this fucking entomologist on goblin subspecies in literally one day? It's been one day. They run down the tunnel and Jared is fucking mauled alive. I'm just kidding, but this troll is about to eat him. Jared impales its fucking eye and makes it up a ladder with his sister at the end of the tunnel. The troll crawls out with them and is hit by a car and fucking dies. The movie said the tunnel was 1 mile long to the city, and the troll entered the tunnel at the house, and they somehow outran it, even though it's biologically designed to run through tunnels. There is zero way they ran a perfect 3-minute, 43-second mile, so this tunnel must have been significantly shorter, because this thing is fucking fast. But Jared states they live in the middle of nowhere, so they don't live in the middle of nowhere, because there's no way this tunnel is 1 mile long, which directly leads to the center of town. Though, if this tunnel is 1 mile long, then they don't really live in the middle of nowhere. Unless he's being dramatic like the little bitch that he is. We then see the mother struggling at her new job, and her boss or instructor or buddy trainer or some dude is giving her instructions on the computer, and he tells her to press shift, but at no point in this keyboard clicking does she press shift. She looks outside and sees Dumb and Dumber walking through the streets, while Simon at home begins making IEDs. He's a pacifist, by the way. We cut to the nut house that, hey, actually looks pretty good. As Jared just rips some flowers in the garden, the bed has an outlining of salt, and they hear weird ass noises outside. Then Aunt Lucinda tells these fairies to hide. But why would she tell them to hide if they fucking can't be seen unless you want them to? Like, that shit doesn't make any sense, but anyway. Then they tell Aunt Lucinda that they moved into the house, and she's all like, you fucking dumbasses, you're all gonna die, why would you do that? But if she saw the state of the economy and how much houses were, she wouldn't say no to a free house either. Also, they lived in New York City, which, in comparison to their situation, can't be that much different from a day-to-day basis. We find out that, big shock, she wasn't crazy, and her dad was actually taken by fairies. We get shown a little flashback. In this flashback, his daughter's just walking around the circle, around the house, and the only thing I was thinking when I was watching this scene is this dad is fucking stupid. This is what I fucking hate about Arthur Spiderwick, because he knew about the dangers outside of his house, and yet he didn't tell his daughter. Did he only find out about them yesterday? But we know this can't be true because he has a fucking book written, sealed, and packed away. So he just lived in this dangerous ass environment and didn't tell his daughter once? This guy's a shitty ass fucking dad. Then he just fucking hoko no mi. And fucking dies. The goblins attack Dumb and Dumber inside the nut house, and conveniently, at the same time, the mum shows up to the nut house, and it looks like they're just jumping Lucinda. Like, she left work to go after them for some reason. Like, she had no reason to do this. She has no reason to suspect her kids were really doing anything wrong, unless you include her daughter holding a big-ass fucking sword through the streets. Conveniently, the only page the goblins stole from the book tells them exactly how to break the barrier. By the way, they stole this page when they were getting jumped in the nut house. I don't know why the fuck he would write this in the book. This literally only benefits the goblins. I fucking hate this dumbass. I just spelled every word in my script wrong, hold on. Fortunately, Seth Rogen overheard the goblins and goes to alarm the others. The mum has a crash out in the car, then they try gaslighting her into believing that goblins and shit are real. But like a woman would, she doesn't believe them and then gets angry. Jared hits his mum with the, "You're a bitch and I hate you!" This will be important later when he decides his moral compass down the line, by the way. When they make it back inside, Jared's sister, Mallory, I forgot her fucking name, informs them that there's no goblins outside and suggests that they've given up. But Jonah Hill, sorry, Seth Rogen, goes like, nah, they've got a potion that will destroy your barrier and shit. Seth Rogen explains how Mograth is gonna kill all of humanity, but like I said, he isn't surviving a fucking Moab, bro. He then hucked Tuas in the siblings' eyes. Jared calls daddy and has a go at him and tells him to come home right now. Why would he endanger his dad like this? Why don't they take the book far away? Why does Mograth live in the middle of Montreal, Canada? Why does he want to kill people? Why is he evil? Why am I watching this? They decide that they need to go find Spiderwick, but it's been 80 years and there's no way they could possibly oh, the book has exact instructions on what to do. They summon a fucking griffin because the book had instructions to do that, and it takes them to a new world that will not be explored in this movie because the runtime is nearing 90 minutes and this is 2008. They find him in a 1.18 Minecraft Caves and Cliffs generation base location and break the weird fairy trance he's in. He thinks he's been there for like 6 minutes, but it's been like 80 years. Jared drops an absolute nuke on this guy and tells him his daughter is like 86 and that his wife is fucking dead. But Spiderwick doesn't give a fuck, not gonna lie. Like, his reaction is pretty nonchalant about that. The fairies try to drug them with their music and Spiderwick tells them to cover their ears, which he does with music. But why is the music playing? Was it on the whole time? He didn't turn that shit on. Spiderwick tells Jared fuck all and Jared just leaves. They escape on a griffin and make it home safe and sound as Spiderwick gets mauled to death by fairies. The kids make it home before the mum and see her driving home. Before the kids GTA hijack the car and mow over some goblins for her, before explaining the goblin situation to his mum, which of course the bitch doesn't fucking believe. Before the brownie reveals himself, who I am now finding out is named Thimbletack, my bad, his mum now believing it. They start home alone prepping, like setting up IEDs, giving each other knives, and putting more salt on the windows, but we were told that all the windows had salt on the stills.
Actually, dude, it's salt.
So this would further enforce my fucking point that not all the fucking windows had it. As the moon rises up, the circle breaks from this little chant that he does. The family goes back to back and starts killing the Goblin Invasion in hopes to get the Goblin Tinkerer. How can they get through the windows though, as there's salt there and they didn't do the little fucking chant for it? I don't know, dude. I don't care about this movie anymore. Until the big boss appears through the fucking floor, and I find it funny to imagine him crawling along beneath the fucking floorboards in this form, which I'm gonna believe. The family split up and Molgrath starts charging at everyone, but then they get back together in like 2 seconds. They set up an oven bomb with a bunch of tomato sauce in it to blow up the fucking house, to which it is ignited by someone hiding in the dumbwaiter killing all the fucking goblins. The family wins and they all celebrate. The end. Just kidding. The dad shows up out of fucking nowhere, and Jared's all like, "What did you have to tell me?" And he's like, "I love you, buddy." And Jared's all like, "You're not my dad!" and fucking kills him with his British knife talents. As you all expected, it's fucking Molgrath who starts chasing him. Jared leads him up the dumbwaiter. The brownie gets RKO'd and the fight takes to the roof with Molgrath for some reason turning back into his big form and almost falling. Why does he do this? I don't fucking know. I don't know why he doesn't turn into like a bird or a snake, as we've seen him do in this movie already. He turns big for no fucking reason. Anyway, Jared throws the book to his fucking family in a last-ditch effort. Molgrath turns into a bird and gets fucking eaten by Seth Rogen, bro. End of movie. Lucinda comes back to live at home now that the one ogre in the entire world is dead. Or is there more ogres? Or was it just Molgrath? What about all around the world? Like, did he just live in this one fucking forest with the goblins? Like, what about the whole planet? Anyway, as they're making it to the house, Spiderwick appears out of the fucking blue and is all like, "Come back with me." And they go live happily ever after, with the real fucking antagonist being Jared, who just needed to read the warning.
What up? I'm Jared, I'm 19, and I never fucking learned how to read.
Shut your fucking mouth!